Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Ohio.
A season entered. A young Reds team taking the field, embarking on a journey. A trek few would have predicted, but eventually none would deny. In importance of what was to become a trademark all season, the Reds showed what they were made of right off the bat.
Drilled into left center field.
Of Johnny Gomes.
Oh, Johnny! Oh, Johnny! Oh, Johnny!
They call the baseball season a marathon for a reason.
Complete with all the trials and missteps inherent in a sustained engagement along the way. The Reds riding the waves of elation and devastation with an ever-present drive to persevere, improve, conquer. Throughout it all, these boys of summer proving they were up to the task. Their heart and gloves as good as gold. It is this, the time of competition, that true leaders emerge.
Left field, going back, we're going home. Joey's done it again.
From silent pinpoint focus and sheer willpower, a torchbearer emerges. A man whose actions enlighten more than any words would.
Blazing the way through the dark times, empowering those that heed the beacon,
Until bit by bit, an entity emerges. A team. An array of players under a common flag with a common goal, powering onward to the promised land.
Bruce digging in to start tonight. High drive. Left center field. The Reds are National League Central Division champions.
At their side, as always, you, the fans. And with that historic home run, the ache of every loss, the thrill of each victory poured out in an avalanche of emotion. The height of the celebration made more grand by the foundation of support from a fan base that is their team. The team that started it all. The embodiment of a city.
Boy, I love this team. I love Cincinnati.
The season may have ended early, but a message to all those willing to listen. The Reds are back.
will you be here for the ride?
We thank Cincinnati and Nick Lachey. He's here on opening day. You're with us on Fox Sports Ohio. It's time to play ball in 2011. Sunshine beginning to peek through what has been a mostly cloudy day in Cincinnati, and a sellout crowd is on hand for an opening day in baseball unlike any other. It's the Reds and the Brewers. And we're just moments away from the first pitch. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. The Milwaukee Brewers and the Cincinnati Reds. And hi again, everybody. Alongside Chris Welsh, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to the Champion Windows broadcast booth. And Chris, nothing like opening day. The Reds try and defend their 2010 divisional championship.
Well, it's not easy, Tom. They knew what it was like to prepare to win last year. Well, they got tested right away with a very good Milwaukee Brewers team. A lot of people picking the Brewers to win it, and the Reds are going to find out right away how good they are.
Weather-wise, not too bad. What about the rest of the day? Let's check in with Tim Hedrick.
Hello, Tommy. Hello, Chris. 42 degrees outside right now. It could be a whole lot worse. By the end of this ball game, probably 45 or 46 degrees. Mostly cloudy skies. A peek at the sun from time to time, but not a lot of sunshine. I'm meteorologist Tim Hedrick. Enjoy the ball game on Fox Sports Ohio.
Opening day on Fox Sports Ohio is brought to you by State Farm. State Farm agents are there when you need them. Find an agent or get a quote at statefarm.com. By your local Ford dealer, Ford, drive one. By Cincinnati USA, come for the Reds, stay for the fun. Book your trip at cincinnatiusa.com. And by Skyline, whenever you're feeling good and hungry, it's Skyline time. Sellout crowd at Great American Ballpark in downtown Cincinnati, Ohio. The Milwaukee Brewers and the Cincinnati Reds locking up in this opening three-game series. Here's the Brewers batting order. Ricky Weeks leads off at second. Carlos Gomez in center with Ryan Braun in left. Prince Fielder, the first baseman. Casey McGee down at third. And Mark Kotze for the injured Corey Hart in right. Udieski Betancourt in his first year at short for the Brewers. Will Nieves starts behind the plate for Giovanni Gallardo on the mound. Making his first opening day start in his career is 27-year-old right-hander Edinson Volquez.
Well, you see what he did last year, Edinson Volquez, hard-throwing right-hander. He was been an all-star before, previously a 17-game winner, coming back from Tommy John surgery. That's the reason he only had 12 starts last year. But when he is on, he is dominant. A fastball that goes into the mid-90s. He's got a drop-dead changeup. He's got a nice curveball. But you know, on opening day, Tom, the emotions of the day take over. He is on pure adrenaline right now. Things will calm down after he gets the first batter out, and especially after the first inning. What you hope out of your opening day starter is he's calm enough to take care of the first inning.
Saw the numbers. Volquez coming back from that Tommy John right elbow surgery, making 12 starts for the Reds. When he first came back last year, things did not go very well. He was sent back to the minor leagues, came up in September, and threw brilliantly, well enough to earn a Game 1 start in the playoffs. Ricky Weeks will lead things off. Edinson Volquez is on the mound, and it's time for pitch number 1 in the 2011 season. A strike and we're underway. Ricky Weeks coming off his best season as a major leaguer. Hit 29 home runs out of that leadoff spot a year ago, and Volquez quickly ahead at 0-2.
Well, he's a typical, prototypical leadoff hitter is Ricky Weeks. He gets on base, he can run. He stole 11 bases last year. He makes things happen, has home run power. But he strikes out a lot. 184 punch outs for Weeks last year. That was an attempted curveball by Volquez. A little difficult on a cold day to get the grip on a baseball to spin it good enough to get a good break.
A little bit better tilt there. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Weeks.
It's almost like pitching in Arizona. Of course, 40 degrees colder than when the Reds left Goodyear. But when you have a cold weather day like you do today in Cincinnati, your hands feel cold. The baseballs are cold. They sit in a bucket in a dugout, and it's tough to get that feel of the seam. And throwing that breaking ball is all about gripping that seam.
Ryan Gorman calls the balls and strikes here in the season opener. Larry Vanover at first, Tony Randazzo at second base, and Dan Bellino works at third. In the air and appears to be playable, just out of the reach of Votto. Take a look at the Reds defensively, presented by Ford. The best fielding percentage team in the National League a year ago. Gomes, Stubs, and Bruce in the outfield. Gold Glove winners Rowland and Phillips in the infield. Of course, you throw in Bronson Arroyo as well. Arroyo winning his first Gold Glove last season. Still 2-2 on Weeks. Blasted into left center field, and Milwaukee has a 1-0 lead. Ricky Weeks in his career against Edinson Volquez is now 5 out of 8 with 2 home runs.
That didn't take long. On a 2-2 fastball, pretty much right down Broadway, Edinson Volquez, well, the butterflies ought to be gone. There goes your no-hitter. There goes your shutout. Let's see if you can hang around here long enough to give your team a good quality start. And that means locating your pitches a little bit better.
Volquez did not have a very impressive swing as he gets ahead 0-1 on Carlos Gomez. And this one is in the air to deep left field. It's 2-0 Milwaukee. So after a total of 9 pitches in the game, Edinson Volquez has surrendered back-to-back home runs to start this season.
Now this one looks like it goes down and in, a fastball that just looks like it's almost off the plate. But Carlos Gomez, who's changed his batting style a little bit, he's more compact. He hit 5 home runs last year, and he's got 1 on the board already. That was a no-doubter, a second deck job. And the worst part of it is for Edinson Volquez, he has not even hit the power part of the lineup that the Brewers run out there. And believe me, they've got some power.
You're not lying about that. It begins right now with left fielder Ryan Braun, fielder behind him, Casey McGee. Normally they'd have Corey Hart. The Reds led the National League in runs scored last season. The Brewers were 4th. The Brewers second only to the Reds in home runs. We're starting to talk about Edinson Volquez. Clearly he is healthy. He's throwing the ball very hard, but had an extremely difficult spring, especially just trying to throw strikes.
Well, it seemed like it all started when he had visa problems. It had to go back to the Dominican Republic. It set him back a little bit from being on the schedule that all the other starters were on. But when he came back, his arm was healthy. He's never been a great strike thrower. And the problem with a guy who walks as many batters as Volquez normally does, and he walked a lot of batters in spring training, even in some of the B games and minor league games that he went down to pitch. The problem is that when you're wild outside of the strike zone and can't throw a strike, you're going to be wild inside the strike zone, and that's what we've seen so far. Although the swing by Gomez was a good one and not a bad pitch. The one by Weeks, that looked like it was pretty much down Broadway, and now Edison's having a hard time finding the zone at all.
There you see the overall spring training numbers for Volquez. Look at the walks. In 9 2/3 innings, he walked 11 batters. (3-0) on Braun, not afraid to take a hack on this count. A called strike. Braun already a 3-time All-Star. His first full seasons in the major leagues, 4 of them, already 128 home runs, and has knocked in well over 400 runs. 3-2.
Braun is a guy that hits the ball extremely well on the road. In fact, his batting average on the road is second in the National League last year, second only to Joey Votto.
So a 3-2 pitch is taken outside on a breaking ball, and that's a walk.
Well, the home run team hitters last year, the leaders in the league, there you see them. Cincinnati had more than any. Of course, they scored more runs than anybody in the National League. Milwaukee was in second with home run hitters. And Dusty Baker's already seen 2 of them leave the yard, and the number 3 hitter walked.
Not a bad managerial way to get your career started for Ron Roenicke, who spent the last 11 years as a coach under Mike Scioscia with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. 54-year-old, getting his first crack at being a big league skipper, and here he is in the very first inning. Home run, walk.
And the walk makes available to Prince Fielder, who's a pretty good pull hitter, the right side of the infield wide open. A ground ball to a normal position where the first baseman will be playing will be a base hit and probably get Braun to third. Reds are shifting him way over to the right side.
Certainly a staple of the Angels style of play as you get a look at the big shift on Fielder. Was aggressive base running, not just stealing bases, but the first to third. I mean, the Angels up until last year were the league leaders in that category for about a 5, 6, 7-year run. And Ron Roenicke very much plans on bringing that style of play to the Brewers. Well, Braun will easily get to third on this rocket into right center, and they're on the corners and still none out.
Got a ball up. A changeup that time, and you throw a changeup up around the letters to a guy that covers the plate as well as Prince Fielder, you're going to see a line drive. And he fires the line drive over the head of Brandon Phillips into right center field. And first and third, the Brewers go. Brian Price now out to talk to Edinson Volquez and Ramon Hernandez. You know, this is where your pitching coach becomes a psychiatrist. Go out there just to try to calm the guy down a little bit of dose of reality here. Hey, let's forget about what's happened so far. Let's think about damage control. Let's keep the ball down, get Casey McGee out on his front foot, see if we can't get a double play ball. Don't worry about striking out the side and leaving Ryan Braun at third base. Let's keep this under control so we don't get blown out here in the first inning. Meanwhile, Edinson Volquez is probably thinking, what's happened? Can we redo this inning, please? Because this isn't exactly the way I scripted it last night.
Well, there's about 43,000 others that feel the same way.
Well, he probably laid awake last night wondering about his start like so many opening day starters. Not the way he figured it would happen. Casey McGee can go deep. Hit 23 of them last year. Plenty of power, compact swing. They expect big things out of this guy.
What's amazing what McGee has done since being claimed off waivers from the rival Chicago Cubs back in 2008. In 2009, ended up hitting his way into the lineup. Knocked in nearly 70 runs. There's a foul ball straight back. And then last year, you mentioned the 23 home runs. He led the club with 104 runs batted in. What a start today for the Brewers. Weeks a home run to left center field. Gomez a home run to left. Followed by a walk to Braun, who went to third on a single by Fielder. This will be the first out in the inning. Tagging and scoring is Braun, and the Brewers lead it 3-0. Mentioned the Brewers begin this season like the Reds with 5 players on the disabled list. One of them their regular right fielder, Corey Hart. So Mark Kotsay, who broke in with the Florida Marlins all the way back in 1997, will get regular playing time in his absence. Ball 1 to Kotsay. 14th season for Kotsay, now 35 years old. Spent last year with the White Sox. One and one. Only 6 games around baseball to begin this 2011 year. The bottom of the 5th inning, Atlanta leading Washington 2-0. 2 other National League games. We'll certainly keep an eye on San Diego at St. Louis, and later tonight the Giants and the Dodgers. Change up there on the outside corner, a called strike. Blew him away with a fastball at 94 miles per hour, and it's out number 2 in the inning.
Well, changing speeds when you're a fastball changeup pitcher like Volquez is the most important thing you can do. Even though that ball is at a hittable part of the zone, after an 82-mile-an-hour fastball, it dials it up to 94, and he throws it right by the left-handed hitter.
So now making his Milwaukee Brewers debut as their shortstop, Yuniesky Betancourt. Spent the last 2 years with Kansas City. Was a highly touted prospect who actually put up pretty doggone good offensive numbers when he broke in with Seattle. And really, Chris, his numbers last year not all that bad. 16 home runs and 78 knocked in.
Well, he's more of an offensive shortstop. There's no question about that. They're worried a little bit about his defense, but he'll provide a lot of punch for you. Drove in 78, hit 16 home runs. We saw him in spring training. Tom swing the bat pretty well down there. That is out in Arizona. He's a free swinger. Won't take a lot of walks. He'll make contact, though.
Volquez ahead of Betancourt at 1 ball and 2 strikes, and now 1 pitch away from surviving this 3-run opening inning to begin the 2011 season. Of course, with all the big time numbers the Brewers put up offensively last year, the Reds were #1 in virtually everything. On to second base goes Fielder. That'll be scored a wild pitch.
Unfortunate right there. You hope it doesn't come back to hurt the Reds anymore, but that ball was down in the dirt. Yes, it went to the backhand side of Ramon Hernandez, but really should have been blocked. It looks like he just kind of gave it a little cursory backhanded attempt. The ball went right under his glove. Not the sharp defense the Reds were hoping to show out here.
30th pitch in this opening inning, and it's a check swing and a miss to end the inning. So the Reds offense comes to bat for the first time, playing catch up. It is complete without the world famous Budweiser Clydesdales pulling a red, white, and gold beer wagon. And the Clydesdales delivering the game ball. So we could get underway today in Cincinnati. Let's take a look at the Reds starting lineup. Drew Stubs in center, Brandon Phillips at second base with the National League's most valuable player Joey Votto at first. Scott Rowland at third, Jay Bruce in right, Johnny Gomes in left. A latter third of Ramon Hernandez. First-year starter Paul Yanish at short, and Edinson Volquez on the mound, making his second straight opening day start for the Brewers is Yovani Gallardo.
Well, he's been a double-digit winner the last couple of years. A young man born in Mexico, raised in Texas. He was a 14-game winner last year, but every year he has pitched for the Brewers in the major leagues, his earned run average has been sub-4. So he's been in the 3s in earned run average. He really ought to have more wins than 14 last year. This guy's the real deal.
Well, the Reds have certainly had their way with Yovani Gallardo through the years. In 8 career starts, he has 2 wins against 3 losses with an ERA of over 5.5, and the Reds will get it started right from the get-go. This will be extra bases for Drew Stubs.
Well, you know, I think one of the game plans the Reds have against Gallardo is be aggressive at the plate, get the fastball early in the count before Gallardo can break out that overhand curveball. Stubs doesn't want to swing at the curve. The inside's out a fastball with his speed, even a stumble at first. He makes it easily into second base.
Now Brandon Phillips. Reds trailing 3-0 as they come to bat here in the bottom of the first inning.
Interesting right there. You know, the Reds, you don't have to try to get all 3 runs back in this inning. Try to put one on the board, though. And for Brandon Phillips, what that means is get the ball to the right side of the infield. Get Stubs to third base. Let the reigning MVP try to drive him in from 90 feet away.
Brandon Phillips beginning his 6th year with the Reds. Hard to believe that much time has passed, hasn't it, Chris?
It really is. You know, he's a guy, he's one of the only players on this ball club that have been around as long as he has, who's working on the last year of his contract. Opening a big year, the Reds will exercise the option.
Phillips lays it down beautifully. Gallardo, the feed to fielder. That'll be a sacrifice for Phillips. And just as you hoped, you have Votto coming up with a runner at third.
We didn't see a lot of this last year with Dusty Baker in the top part of the lineup, sacrificing guys over. But I think he realizes how important it is emotionally and from an energy standpoint to get a run in this inning. You don't want to let Gallardo pitch his way out of it, and it's going to be a lot tougher now for Gallardo to get out of this inning without giving up a run with Joey Votto at the plate and Drew Stubs at third base.
There are some gaudy numbers for Votto and Rolen in their careers against Giovanni Gallardo. Votto, 6 hits in 16 at-bats. Rolen, 7 hits in 11 at-bats. Get a look at what Votto did against Milwaukee last year, batting nearly .500 against him. Straightaway center field. Drifting is Gomez. And he'll make the play, but it brings in a run, and the Reds are on the board.
Well, a breaking ball that hangs up. It excited the crowd for a moment there. That ball looked like it was struck better than it actually was, although caught up against the center field wall by Carlos Gomez. The sacrifice bunt moves a man over, and Joey picks up his first ribeye of the year.
You could tell by Votto's reaction as soon as he made contact, he knew that he didn't get all of it.
Well, you don't have to get all of it in this ballpark.
One and one to Rolen. Take a look at Milwaukee defensively, and some wonder how good the Brewers will be on defense this year. It's brought to you by Ford. Gomez flanked by Braun and Kotze. We talked about Betancourt at short with Weeks up the middle, McGee and Fielder on the corners. Jonathan Lucroy, their regular catcher, broke a pinky on his throwing right hand very early in spring training, had surgery, and is not available on opening day. So Will Nieves gets a start. Two and two to Rolen. Six career home runs in 13 opening day games for Scott Rolen. What a year Rolen had last year after battling through so many injuries. The last 3 years, played in 133 games, knocked in 83 runs. And that number, in terms of games played, figures to decrease this year. Dusty Baker certainly will give him more rest throughout the entire year. And that one is shot down the right field line, foul. Juan Francisco made the opening day roster.
Well, you mentioned that Scott Rolen may get some more rest this year, and maybe that's one reason why Francisco did make the roster. Of course, last year Miguel Cairo was there to spell relief for Scott Rolen, but I think with Francisco on the roster, first of all, it gives you a lot more left-handed pop off the bench than you ever had last year when he wasn't here, and it gives you a real third baseman to come in there and play in place of Rolen. Be an interesting lineup, a very tough left-handed hitting lineup against a right-handed pitcher when Rolen can't play and Francisco is in there. He was swinging the bat big time towards the end of spring training.
Young, highly touted slugger is Juan Francisco, who played some left field during the spring, got a little time in right field in the spring. He's also played first base. 3-2 pitch. And the inning continues with a 2-out walk. Chris, you were a starting pitcher for a number of years in the major leagues. As good as Gallardo has been against so many other teams, it has to be a little bit of a mental challenge for him, though, knowing how often the Reds have knocked him around, is it not?
Yeah, I think it is. And I think one of the reasons is in this ballpark, this can get into your head a little bit. He's had some tough outings here at Great American Ballpark where he hangs a breaking ball on the verge of a good game, and all of a sudden you see a 3-run homer go into the first row. It's happened to a lot of pitchers. It can be a mental thing, but unless he begins to establish his ability to get that curveball over, he can't survive with his other stuff. His curveball is his #1 pitch, along with being able to locate his fastball. And so far, we haven't seen that hook working.
0-2 to Jay Bruce, who didn't like that strike. Good numbers for Bruce last year. His best in his very young career, still only 23 years young. My, oh my, he'll be 24 over the weekend. But will this be the year where Bruce puts it all together? From a health standpoint, number one, remember he had the broken wrist 2 years ago. And from a production consistent standpoint, he's been mighty good his first couple of years, even with injuries and ups and downs.
Well, the Reds believe enough in him to have given him a multi-year contract worth more than $50 million. So what you have to hope, though, from Jay Bruce is that he doesn't try to go out and prove to everybody that he's worth the money in the first game of the year or the first month of the year. Just go out and be yourself, Jay. You got plenty of talent to carry yourself through.
Base hit into right field. Now Roland had to jump rope over that one. So he advances 90 feet, and here comes Johnny Combs with 2 on.
Pretty good at bat for Jay Bruce, given the fact that he got down quickly 0-2. That was a breaking ball that Gallardo throws down in the zone. Most left-handers like it down, and he scoops that ball right by Roland and the diving first baseman fielder. So neither pitcher really fooled anybody so far.
Well, the Brewers got back-to-back home runs from the first 2 hitters in their lineup, Weeks and Gomez. After a walk and a hit, a sac fly by McGee to give him a 3-0 lead. Stubs is doubled, then bunted over. Votto knocked him in. And with the bases empty and 2 men out, a walk to Roland, a single by Bruce, and here's Johnny Gomes. And this should retire the side, and it does. But the Reds get 1 back and trail 3-1 after 1 in Cincinnati. By Elk and Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio. Arm issues indeed. It began in spring training. Johnny Cueto, who's already throwing again. They expect him back very soon. Homer Bailey, we wait and see. Jose Arredondo coming all the way back from Tommy John. And then in the third to last game of spring training, Jared Burton walked off the mound with tightness in the right shoulder. They found some inflammation in there. 5 Reds total start the year, Chris, on the DL.
Yeah, and the bad part about it, Tom, is that all these injuries ended at the end of spring training rather at the very beginning of spring training. As you said, I think Johnny Cueto probably the closest to coming back. We're not sure about Homer Bailey. I don't think he's even throwing the ball yet. Jose Arredondo was inconsistent when he did throw down there, and Jared Burton told me yesterday 3 or 4 days of rest is all I need, but the team can't be short. That's why they made the deal to bring up Jordan Smith to take his spot on the roster.
And that is a rocket off the bat of the number 8 hitter, Will Nieves, on a first pitch fastball. And he is standing at second base to start the Brewers' second inning.
Well, the Brewers are being aggressive just like the Reds are trying to be aggressive as well. And that ball just kind of floats up inside. Nieves just rips it right inside the bag. Got to be frustrating for Volquez, because even pitches that are seemingly on the edges of the strike zone are being struck pretty solidly.
Now a perfect spot for Gallardo, trying to advance a runner with a bunt. He fouls it away for a strike. Gallardo's a very good hitter.
Well, he came into last year having 4 home runs to his major league career. Then he had 4 home runs last year. But he's up here to bunt right now. Now, if you're a pitcher like Volquez with strikeout stuff, now that you're 0-1 on him, don't make it easy for him to get the bunt down. Work the ball around. Get one underneath his elbows, then go down low and away. Try for a strikeout right here. Don't lay it down Broadway.
Trying to catch a runner. Nieves napping out at second base.
That's a good idea, too, because, you know, it's not an easy play for a runner who doesn't run well. Nieves is a catcher. He's not a great runner. So he can't worry about getting too big of a lead down there without maybe getting picked off. Or if it's a bad bunt, you've got to play a third base. You've got a pretty athletic pitcher in Volquez there.
1-1 account on Nieves. Out at second base. Gallardo shortens up again and stabbed at it and fouled it off. He's behind 1-2.
Good way to put it, too. He stabbed at it rather than get the bat out there in front of the plate and try to shake hands with the ball. That's the way a lot of batting coaches will teach youngsters how to bunt. It's not in the strike zone yet, and then all of a sudden he kind of stabs at it. There's no reason why, if everybody in the ballpark knows you're going to bunt, get that bat right out over the plate. Start covering the strike zone as soon as you begin your swivel.
Fouls it away, strike 3.
Good job by Volquez that time. Got him ahead, dropped the slider or breaking ball on him, and another stab action breaking ball or a foul ball gets a strikeout. Boy, all the time, I guarantee you that out in spring training, every team, not just the Brewers and the Reds, but everybody sent their National League pitchers in the batting cages to practice those bunts over and over and over again. Here, the first opportunity of the year starting day, opening day starting pitcher has to do it, and he ends up with a strikeout. Go figure.
Now Weeks, who started the year in this game with a bang, a home run to left center field, after Volquez had gotten ahead of him at 1 ball and 2 strikes. He worked it to 2-2 before laying into one, coming off a career-high 29 home runs a year ago.
A quick bat, fastball hitter. That's what he hit the first time up. That's why Volquez trying to get ahead of him with the breaking ball right there.
It's very interesting, the reverence with which the Brewers players talk about Weeks. There's a base hit down the left field line that'll make it 4-1. A double by Weeks. 2 at bats, a home run, a double, and 2 batted in.
That Ball just coming on the inner part of the plate. In Weeks, we talked about how quick his bat was. Brolin, despite the dive, couldn't get there in time.
Now Carlos Gomez, who like Weeks homered in the opening inning. He bats for the second time, and we're in the second inning, and the Brewers lead is stretched back to 3. Breaking ball in there, a strike.
A hanger.
Pulled foul and out of play, and Volquez in front of Gomez this time at 0-2.
So far to Gomez, who hit a fastball his first time up. He gets a curveball. He gets a changeup. That Volquez ahead 0-2 can really be selective, not only with the pitches that he'll throw here in this at bat, but where he throws them.
Gomez only 25 years old. Came over from Minnesota. Figured when the Brewers traded Lorenzo Cain that he would be their everyday center fielder. As he's gone on strikes, and they're 2 away in the inning.
Great sequence of pitches right there for Volquez. Slow, slower, and then gas.
Of course, the Brewers just before the end of spring training made the deal to acquire Nyjer Morgan from the Washington Nationals. And you got to believe the heat was turned up on Gomez once again with that move.
Well, you know, I think they want to be more athletic. They want to be more speedy. Of course, Nyjer Morgan gives you that. He's a burner.
Now Braun. And he takes a fastball, strike 1. Braun walked and scored in the opening inning.
Nothing wrong with Volquez's velocity today. 95 on the radar gun here at the ballpark.
Oh, 0-1 to Braun. Weeks out at second base. And now a ball and a strike. Brewers 77 up, 85 down, finished in 3rd place, 14 games behind the division champion Reds a season ago.
And one of the reasons why they finished so badly behind the Reds is that the Reds really owned them. I think they were 8-1 against the Brewers at this ballpark last year.
Oh, the other reason the Brewers were under 500, with all of the force that they have offensively, their starting rotation had the 2nd worst ERA among all National League teams. And that's where their general manager Doug Melvin went to work during the offseason. Brought in former Cy Young Award winner Zach Greinke over in the American League, and then they come to find out at the beginning of spring training he fractures a rib in a pickup basketball game. They were none too happy about that. They were very worried about the other pitcher they acquired, Sean Markham from Toronto, when he had some shoulder issues, but appears to be all right. You have those two to go along with Gallardo, veteran Randy Wolf, and coming off a real good rookie year is Chris Narveson. And the Brewers think they have their best starting rotation in a long time. Still 2-2.
Well, Ryan Braun is a home run hitter. Drove in over 100 last year, popped 25 home runs, but he came to camp even in better shape and stronger than he ever did before. He worked out over the winter with former Brewer Gabe Kapler. You remember what Kapler looks like? I mean, he looks like a cross between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno in a baseball uniform. Well, this guy's tightened it up a little bit. Stronger, especially from the waist down. And he says he's hitting the ball better than ever.
2-2 on Ryan Braun. And now Volquez wants a meeting with Hernandez. 45 pitches already thrown by Edinson Volquez. And we're in the second inning. Full count. The big fella Prince Fielder waits in the on-deck circle. Many believe one of the reasons the Brewers went out and acquired all that pitching to make one big run at it is they figure at the end of this season Prince Fielder will no longer be a Milwaukee Brewer. He'll be a free agent. 3-2 to Braun. And that'll reach the seats. Brewers 4, Reds 1, runner at second, 2 out here in the top of the second inning. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Ryan Braun, and Volquez a check of the runner, and here it comes. And the inning goes on.
Dusty Baker doesn't know if that ball was inside or outside, but we'll give you our Fox Tracks look. You know, he had to figure, Dusty, he's going to go to the bullpen sometime on opening day anyway. Your pitchers, very rarely you see a complete game on opening day, but Volquez is pushing 50 pitches here.
2 on, 2 out, and here's Fielder, who singled into right center field his first time up. Big swing and a miss.
Boy, looking fastball, getting changeup. Nice pitch selection there.
Fielder got off to the terrible start last year. Here you see with runners in scoring position and 2 out, he hit .212. His overall numbers in such situations in the 230s. But at the end of April, Fielder had 2 home runs and 9 runs batted in. 9. Was swinging at bad pitches, and all of a sudden he just decided, you know what? I'm going to start taking pitches that are out of the strike zone. Wound up setting a franchise record, walking 114 times. Muscled down the left field line, foul. They asked Fielder, why the change? He said, why the change? I'm tired of making outs. And this guy's put up some mighty good numbers through his first 5 years in the big leagues. Last year was the first year he failed to knock in 100 runs.
A lot of people get on him. They say he doesn't have a body of a baseball player. He came into camp better shape this year than before. Depending on what media guide you read, he's listed at 5'11", somewhere around 275. But they say he has trimmed it down. He's always a dangerous hitter, and he always plays hard.
Votto will wave off Volquez, and the inning is over. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 left. Reds will bat again, trailing by 3. opening day for your lawn today. Visit your local Lowe's for savings and a free MLB fan guide, compliments of Scott's. We're playing on Kentucky Bluegrass here at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, opening day 2011. And the Reds are trailing 4-1. Latter third in the order, Ramon Hernandez, Paul Janisch, and Edinson Volquez against Giovanni Gallardo. Good solid year and just under 100 games last season for Ramon. Drove in 48 runs. Talk so much about the Reds catchers and how productive they were, primarily Hernandez and Janisch. Had the second best batting average among all National League catchers as a combination. Reds catchers knocked in the second most runs among all teams in the National League. The only catching core with more, the Atlanta Braves, and they've got a guy behind the plate who's been an all-star every year of his career in Brian McCann. Ryan Hannigan will get plenty of playing time again this year. 2-2 to Ramon. Hannigan, in fact, signed a 3-year contract during spring training, so he'll be around for a while.
And not only that, Tom, the Reds are one of those few organizations that have minor league catchers who are deemed to be legitimate major league prospects, everyday catchers in the big leagues who are nearly ready for big league action. Mainly Devin Mesoraco, who really had a breakout season last year, played at a couple of different levels, but really showed himself in spring training to be a wonderful catch and throw guy and swing the bat. He's a phone call away.
Hit 25 home runs last year, going from single A to double A to triple A and knocking in 80 runs. And then the other guy, of course, Mr. Grandal, their #1 pick out of Miami.
He's a good-looking switch-hitting catcher. I'll tell you what, he's got some serious stage presence in the batter's box. A real good-looking left-handed swing. He was very impressive in spring training. First year in camp, got a big league invite, and that's a knock.
Indeed it is. A sham shot floater, but a base hit for Ramon to begin the Reds' second inning. We'll get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before every game with Reds Live on Fox Sports Ohio with Jim Day and Jeff McCoro. Everything a Reds fan needs to get ready for the game, and it's only on your exclusive home for Reds baseball, Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. How many years for Jim Day now on Reds baseball? It's got to be a decade.
It's got to be a decade. 11 years already. We're told by Christian Roberts.
The illustrious producer of Reds baseball, who was working feverishly with Nick Lachey, along with our crew, to put together that spectacular tease to begin our game coverage today. And we certainly thank Nick Lachey, who of course has moved back to the area. Boy, and he represents Cincinnati wherever he goes, whether it's the Bearcats or the Reds. He loves his hometown.
Nick Lachey going to be the honorary game chairman of the Kids Glove Games this year. We thank him for his participation in that.
One and two to Paul Janisch, who's getting a chance to be the Reds' regular shortstop for the first time in his very young career. Of course, he thought he was going to be the guy last year before the late acquisition of Orlando Cabrera. But you know, Chris, I think he earned such tremendous respect. He's one of the most liked players in the Reds clubhouse. But I mean, it may even gone up 2 or 3 notches. He never opened his mouth, never complained. When they asked him to play, he played and played well.
Well, you have to earn it. I mean, here's his opportunity now to show everybody in the Reds decision-making offices that he should be the guy at shortstop. because like just about every other position out there, you've got guys in the minor leagues ready to play big league baseball. Zach Cozart, who's down in AAA for Rick Sweet, he showed a lot in spring training. He showed a lot to those minor league evaluators last year. That guy's ready to play big league baseball. So Giannis has a little pressure on him.
High fly ball, left center field. Braun has room shy of the track. One away.
I think what you're going to see out of Paul Giannis, though, is a lot more power than people give him credit. He's got a great arm. He covers a lot of ground at shortstop. He's a very good fielder. There's no question about it. And, of course, when you're batting in the number 8 spot, that's not always the easiest place to hit because you'll be pitched around a lot with the pitcher batting behind you. But Giannis is going to impress a lot of people that have not seen him play very much. The kid can get it done.
Now Edinson Volquez, and he makes it look easy. What Gallardo could not do, and that's advance a runner with a bunt. 2 are out.
Well, you know, the key for a pitcher getting the bunt down, get it down on the first pitch, because oftentimes you're going to see a fastball right down the middle. Pitcher's going to say, all right, here it is. If you can bunt it, go ahead and do it. We're going to take the out. But now if you foul it off or bunt through it, now you get 0-1. Now that pitcher's thinking, you know what, I'm going to try for a strikeout right here. And Volquez got his, and he got the bunt down on the first pitch.
Now Drew Stubs, who doubled to right field and scored in the first inning. Reds trailing by 3. Stubs looks at ball 1. Stubs in his first full season in the big leagues last year clubbed 22 home runs, 77 runs batted in, stole 30 bases. With about 2.5 weeks to go in spring training, Dusty Baker declared Stubs the leadoff batter. But then if you were with us here on Fox Sports Ohio, our final telecast of the spring, Walt Jocketty told us that Stubs has let him know he may not be all that comfortable there. There's a ground ball down to third, and that'll end the inning. So the Reds leave a runner in scoring position and trail at the end of 2, 4-1. Leon Silverman from Mainville, Ohio, who currently drives a 1998 Toyota Corolla, will win this beautiful new Tundra on display here each and every game at Great American Ballpark, and you can register for your chance to win it at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. So good luck, Dr. Silverman. The last team in Major League Baseball to hit home runs from the first 2 batters of the season, strangely enough, the 1969 Cincinnati Reds. Pete Rose and Bobby Tolan homered off Don Drysdale on April the 7th, 1969. The Reds did not score again in a 3-2 loss to the Dodgers. Casey McGee begins a Milwaukee third, 1 out.
Well, Tom, the last time these two teams played opening day baseball was back in 2000. And they played to a very unusual conclusion. I don't know if you remember that far back, but they played to a 3-3 tie that day. Eventually, the game called after a 3-hour rain delay in the 6th inning.
You know, really, that 2000 season was the closest thing the Reds have had in terms of expectations to begin a year. Most similar to this 2011 team. Let's not forget, in 1999, the Reds went to a 1-game playoff, lost to the Mets, then acquired Ken Griffey Jr. during the offseason. When the Reds get it done again this year with an RBI, that means another $25 from Shakely for the Reds Community Fund. Shakely, it's done.
Well, they ended up with 85 wins that year in 2000, but unfortunately 10 games back to the St. Louis Cardinals.
2 up, 2 down for Volquez, who certainly needs an easy inning. A scoreless inning. Brewers got 3 in the first, 1 in the second. Ball 1 to Betancourt. And it will be a 1-2-3 third. Quick work for Volquez. Phillips, Votto, rolling coming up. The Reds are down by 3. Final standings from a National League Central Division presented by Honda. The 91 wins for the Reds. Good enough to win a divisional championship. 5 games better than St. Louis in a trip to the playoffs for the first time since the 1995 season when they reached the league championship series.
Think 91 will do it this year?
No. What a pickup by McGee, and the throw is in time to get Phillips. Doesn't get much better than that.
Well, talking to the Brewers people about Casey McGee, a lot of them were really talking about his defense. You know, he's a slugger. They say, hey, he's no Scott Rowland, but he'll give us more than average defense out there. That's a dandy of a play. And a nice play at the other end by Prince Fielder, who had to kind of negotiate the ball on a bounce and the runner coming across his path at the same time. Well, the Atlanta Braves had 91 wins last year and ended up 6 games out of the standings.
But they, of course, good enough to win the wild card. Joey Votto knocked in a run with a sac fly, just missing a home run to straightaway center field his first time up. Oftentimes when you see a team win a divisional championship, you'll look at 1 or 2 pitchers. You'll probably look at anywhere from 3 to 4 position players that have what you certainly would call a career year. Outside of Joey Votto, and when you look at his final numbers, I'm not so sure when all is said and done in his career that that's going to be the best year in his career. No other Red had that kind of a year. Johnny Gomes had the best season of his career. Is that a career year for him? Perhaps it is. He would be the closest thing to that.
Well, Jay Bruce hit his high mark as far as home runs go, but of course he's still not even 24 years old.
Right.
I think that's why so many people who look at this Reds ball club say this is not a ball club that's going to go away anytime soon. The youth is in the foundation. And Walt Jocketty and company have signed a lot of them to long-term deals.
3-2 to Votto. 1 out, nobody on. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And Joey takes a walk.
We're going to see a lot of those for Votto this year. You win the MVP, the strike zone shrinks, and the pitchers pitch around you.
We invite you to join FoxSportsOhio.com's Hall of Fame baseball writer Hal McCoy right now for a live in-game chat. Plus, you can check out the latest from Big Ten insider Bruce Hooley. It's only on FoxSportsOhio.com, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO and SafeAuto.com. Second walk given up by Gallardo, and here's Roland. He walked his first time up. Only 2 American League games today. One already underway at Yankee Stadium. New York and Detroit are tied at 3, and later tonight the Angels will be in Kansas City. Two and one. Roland in 5 days will turn 36 years young. Grew up, of course, in Jasper, Indiana. Originally a 2nd-round draft pick by the Philadelphia Phillies in 1993. Has played in the big leagues ever since 1996. And what a career he's had.
I'll tell you, if you want to learn how to handle yourself around a big league diamond, follow Scott Roland around. I mean, you know, we talk about what he adds to the chemistry of the team and his leadership and so on. He does it by example. Just the way he takes ground balls, the way he's on time, ready to work, not just out there having fun playing baseball. The fun is when you win.
Roland gone swinging, and there are 2 away in the inning. First strikeout in the game for Gallardo. Jay Bruce singled through the hole into right field his first time up. That little one came bundled up for opening day. The sun continues to get a little brighter and brighter at times today on what has been a mostly cloudy day. Temperatures in the mid-40s. But I think Tim Hedrick said it best. A lot of us, Chris, who grew up here, we remember, yeah, some nicer opening days, but it could be a lot worse.
We've had opening days here where all 4 seasons showed up on the same day.
You're not lying.
How about yesterday during the workout? The Brewers took the field at noon. It was a virtual blizzard. It was almost a whiteout here. Then, of course, by 2 o'clock when the Reds' scheduled workout time came, snow was gone, field was dry, but it was still a little chilly.
Broken bat, flare in the right field. Kotsay coming. Did he get it? No, he did not. First base umpire saying no, and Votto will be held at third, and Kotsay will come down to argue.
Boy, I thought he had that one. You're going to see an argument now, the first one of the season for Ron Renicky. There, that was interesting call there.
Well, the only other umpire who may have had a decent look at it would have been the second base umpire, Tony Randazzo. But I don't think they're going to talk about this.
Well, does the ball hit the ground before it goes in the glove? Clean catch. Not a reviewable call.
Well, the Reds get a big-time break. This inning should be over.
Well, you know the old saying, Tom, about bad defense. You give another team an extra out, and it's very difficult to keep them from scoring. You just hope right here Johnny Gomes can pick one and pick a run up here with Votto down there at third base.
Well, oftentimes, when you get a break, it's what you do with that break.
Well, Gomes' last time up, check swung on a little bit of a slider and hit it right back to the pitcher. Good low fastball hitter.
Gomes stranded 2 with that ground out to Gallardo in the first inning. He bats with 2 on again here in the third.
A lot of people in spring training trying to get Dusty Baker to go with some sort of a platoon. With Gomes hitting against lefties and maybe Fred Lewis or Jeremy Hermida or now Juan Francisco to go against the right-handers. But it's Gomes all the way right now. And here's a guy that really came into camp in much better shape than he's ever been before.
Gomes looking for something to hammer here. We're going to get a good idea how Gallardo feels about his stuff right now. Will he challenge Gomes with a 2-0 fastball?
Wouldn't advise it. You green light him here, don't you?
Would you?
Absolutely. If he gets a cookie down Broadway, you go ahead and send it on out of here. Or leave your feet trying.
He'll do that now. Well, he takes ball 4. They are loaded for Ramon Hernandez. So the Reds, after getting a big-time break with what was clearly a catch down the right field line, at least it looked like it from our camera angles, by Kotsay, which would have ended the inning. But instead it was ruled a base hit, which allowed Bruce to go to first base, Votto to third. That's followed by a walk to Gomes. And here comes Hernandez.
Now, if you're Ramon Hernandez, there's no reason right in this situation to sit back and try to work the count. If you're getting a fastball on the first pitch, you go ahead and let it rip. And he should be getting a very hittable pitch. Gallardo does not want to get behind him. I'd be looking fastball down the middle.
Hernandez has been a dynamite hitter in his career with runners on base. And last year, no different. He hit .368 with runners on base last season. Strike 1.
First pitch slider.
See, the career numbers for Hernandez far better than his overall batting numbers. But not this time. The Reds will leave them loaded and still trail at the end of 3, 4-1. Schools, retailers, and our military around the world. JTM Food Group. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Very nicely done, gentlemen. 4 runs, 5 hits, 3 men left on base for Milwaukee. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors, and 6 left for the Reds. 8-9-1 here against Edinson Volquez in the 4th. Volquez gave up 3 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, had a perfect 3rd inning. A 1-hopper right at rolling, and that's a quick out here in the 4th. Time to take a look at our AT&T trivia question on opening day 2011. What player has the most opening day home runs in a Reds uniform? Well, you know, 2 of the most prolific sluggers on opening day in the history of baseball both played a number of years for the Reds. Ken Griffey Jr. and Frank Robinson. But that doesn't mean it's either one of them. Quickly 2 gone as Gallardo taps out and is thrown out by Ramon Hernandez.
5 quick outs for Volquez now. 3 in a row last inning, first 2 this inning.
You know, whenever you think about home runs, anything to do with the Reds, anything, we've talked about this before, right? I mean, they're all-time home run leaders, Johnny Bench.
Okay,
but you know, they've had so many great sluggers through the history of the franchise. I mean, big Ted Kluszewski and so many others. Frank Robinson, Wally Post, going way back. You have Johnny Bench, I mentioned him. Ken Griffey Jr. was here for a decade, nearly a decade. Adam Dunn, all the big home runs he piled up. George Foster. I always guess Bench on everything that has to do with home runs. Every time. 1-1 to Ricky Weeks. He homered leading off the game. And so did the guy behind him, Carlos Gomez. That's the way this opening day started for Edinson Volquez. The first 4 reached and 3 runs scored. Weeks followed the home run with an RBI double. They're already in the 9th inning in the nation's capital. Derek Lowe, the opening day starter for the Braves, and Atlanta shutting out Livan Hernandez in the Nationals 2-0. Volquez starting to get on a nice roll here. That's back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. 7 in a row retired. Reds coming up, still trailing by 3.
And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Reds come to bat against Giovanni Gallardo, last of the 4th inning, trailing 4-1, and Paul Janisch takes up an in. Edinson Volquez to follow, then back to the top in Drew Stubs. Janisch flied out just short of the track in left field, and he pops this one up to the right side of the Milwaukee infield. All right, we'll give you a few minutes to think about it. What player has the most home runs on opening day wearing a Reds uniform? And the answer is Big Adam Dunn. Tony Perez, how could I have forgotten to mention him among the group of all-time big slugging Reds? Barry Larkin, and there's Frank Robinson. Of course, Robinson hit a pile of them in Baltimore as well. Well, baseball's all-time hits leader, the hit king, Pete Rose, here on opening day in his hometown.
He's decked out.
Boy, it's great having him at the ballpark.
You're not kidding. Watches a lot of Reds games on TV, I'll tell you that.
Volquez gone swinging. Second strikeout of the game for Gallardo. I mean, look, whether you know, there's Marvin Lewis, head coach of the Bengals.
Looking for a quarterback.
We're still all waiting to find out how long that contract of his is. I'm starting to say this about Pete. I mean, you and I have been fortunate enough to get to know him. I mean, when you're around him, the guy is just the best. I mean, and anybody who covered baseball, radio, TV, print media, all the years he played
or played for him.
Yep. To a person, to a man, to a woman who ever covered the game, if they ever had 2 days around Pete, they'll tell you he was the best there was to talk to among all players in the sport. In the air to right. Hit pretty well by Stubs. And this one is gone.
Well, that's a good sign for Reds and Reds fans if Drew Stubs starts driving the ball the other way. That fastball came back out over the plate, actually on the inner third of the plate. Little inside-out swing by Drew Stubs. Plenty of power going the other way. Pete says, yep, good swing right there. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tom. I think the last home run Stubs hit in spring training, a 3-run shot went to right center field.
It was, you're right. All right, so a 4-2 game, and here's Brandon Phillips. Brandon down a strike. He's put down a sacrifice and was robbed of a hit by McGee.
Keep that elbow bent right there, does Stubs, and stays right behind the ball, right on the sweet spot, and plenty of juice to get it on out of here over the head of Mark Kotsay.
Our Performance Honda Fox Mode camera replay for you. Well, the Reds fell behind 3-0. Got a run. Fell behind 4-1. And now get another one back. They trail for the second time in a game by a pair. And Phillips gone, swinging to end the inning. But Stubs homers, and we move to the 5th with the Brewers leading 4-2.
On Fox Sports Ohio. Jim Day with you. I'm out here in the outfield. In case you missed the pregame ceremonies, one of the additions to the stadium this year is a tribute to, of course, the late Hall of Fame manager Sparky Anderson. A moving tribute during pregame in which they showed a nice video, a presentation of Sparky, and of course the unveiling of a banner out here, fittingly, as they said in the pregame ceremonies, fittingly above the bullpen. Of course, his nickname famously Captain Hook. Sparky Anderson, of course, lost in the offseason, and as we go back to the booth, of course, missed very much, but never forgotten here in Reds country. Never, ever.
Indeed, Jim Day, what a wonderful, wonderful man Sparky Anderson was. Of course, for so many, many years, he was the only manager to have ever won a World Series in each league. And Tony La Russa joined him after winning a World Series with the St. Louis Cardinals. And this one is in the air to left center field. Playable for Gomes, and Carlos Gomez retired, one away. George Sparky Anderson. For 9 years, manager of the Reds, won a pair of World Series titles, a couple of pennants. Well, he actually won more than 2 National League pennants because they played in the World Series as well in '70 and 1972. He won 4 National League pennants and then won a World Series, of course, with Detroit in 1984. Ryan Braun down a strike.
Boy, if you think the hitters don't guess or at least think along with pitchers, that's a certain situation right there that you guarantee yourself that they do. Ryan Braun swung at that pitch. It was 2 feet outside and down the dirt. He's looking for a first pitch fastball, hoping that Volquez is going to challenge him. It's all about staying one step ahead of the adjustment.
Straight away center field. This one is tagged, and Stubs will watch it go way back to the berm in center.
Maybe should have gone with that breaking ball again.
Volquez had retired 8 in a row, but that comes to an end on the solo home run by Braun. 3rd home run surrendered in 4 1/3 innings today by Volquez, and the Milwaukee lead again stands at 3.
Well, there's no cheapies, and this was certainly not a cheapie, but right down Broadway. This fastball goes, and there it is.
Well, now Volquez trying to get focused on the hitter Prince Fielder, who was single to right and bounced to first.
First time Prince Fielder has been up without a runner on base, and the Reds are putting the full-time shift on him. Shortstop over on the second base side. There's Paul Janisch, a shortstop. The second baseman Phillips, Votto, all on this side.
Two and one to Prince Fielder. And naturally, he bounces it to the left side, and that's a third baseman, Rowland, who picks it and throws him out. 2 away. So you saw that up on our scoreboard. Cincinnati Children's Hospital. I had a chance a couple of weeks ago, my wife and I, to be joined by the CEO, Michael Fisher, and take a tour of that facility. Folks, I know a lot of people think that we have one of the best children's hospitals in America here. We have the best children's hospital in America here. I can't begin to tell you how fortunate we are to have all those folks doing what they're doing at that facility for so many children. Where they have, of course, been the founders of so many critical vaccines, going all the way back to the polio vaccine and so many others in recent years. They are doing spectacular work. That is one amazing place.
You know, Tom, it even goes beyond the healthcare givers, the professionals.
Yep.
The volunteers, the people that cook and make meals for the families, the children that are there, the Ronald McDonald House that's there. It's just, it's incredible the work they do.
One and two to McGee. And that strike 3 called to end the inning. But another Brewers run. On a home run by Braun. Midway through it, the Reds again are down by 3.
This is what baseball is all about, man, especially in Cincinnati. Opening day, they might as well just make it a holiday, you know. It's just nice to see the city just come together. And, you know, if you have never experienced opening day, then you're really missing out.
Words from Brandon Phillips leading up to this opening day 2011. And the Brewers have a 5-2 lead. Heart of the order up against Giovanni Gallardo here in the 5th. Joey Votto has knocked in a run with a sac fly in the 1st inning, walked in the 3rd.
You know, both these pitchers, Tom, beginning to get a little better feel of their breaking stuff, their off-speed stuff. Gallardo had Votto way out in front of that first pitch changeup.
Betancourt behind the bag, throws out Votto. Reds and the Brewers are off tomorrow, and then come right back at you Saturday night for opening night. And there are tickets available for the opening night festivities. Jim Kelch will be in the booth on Saturday, and of course he'll be a regular part of our broadcast team, along with Chris Welsh, Jeff Brantley back for another year, and for a handful or more games, of course, we'll have Sean Casey, and it's always wonderful having George Grand back on Reds baseball. He'll be calling some games for us again this summer. Talk him out of retirement for a few days. 2 gone. And don't forget on Saturday night for opening night, they have the big red carpet pregame out in the fan zone. And plus, the first 20,000 fans in attendance receive this Reds fleece blanket. Now, that thing is nice. You know, a lot of giveaways can occasionally be tired. This one is very, very nice.
Oh, come on, big boy. It's a little cold up here for you. You know, it's the kind of weather that separates the men from the boys.
It really does. Slow roller, weaks the glove flip, and it's in time to get Jay Bruce. Look at this. Come on,
have a little bit of that. Oh, all right.
Got to get things warmed up here on opening day. Big-time athletes, celebrities, breaking sports news, and unparalleled insider access. Tomorrow, Dan will welcome Rich Eisen and Sean Miller, the former Xavier coach who took Arizona to the Elite Eight this year. The Dan Patrick Show tomorrow at 9 a.m. on Fox Sports Ohio. Edinson Volquez, pitching into the 6th inning, has given up 6 hits and 5 runs. He's walked 2 and fanned 5. He gave up 4 of the 5 in the first 2 innings before surrendering the home run to Braun in the 5th.
You know, Tom, just the fact that he's out there in the 6th inning says something about him getting his game together here. He had 50 pitches, or nearly so, after 2 innings.
Well, Well, you got Kotsay, Betancourt, and Nieves here in the Brewers' 6th inning. Reds going quietly with the heart of their order in the 5th. Votto, Rowland, and Bruce. Ball never left the infield against Gallardo. One out. We'll join the Reds on Sunday in the finale of this series, and the first 20,000 fans in attendance. This is one of my favorite giveaways. The Reds magnetic schedule and logo car magnet, courtesy of PNC. You get tickets now by calling 381-REDS or go to reds.com. Now, these babies are sweet. You put them up on the refrigerator. Yeah, they're very, very nice.
Anything metal, they'll stick.
Of course, you have yours memorized, right? Is that osmosis there?
I'll tell you, this is pretty cool because this separates. You've got a Sparky sticker in here that you can get out of there. You have the red sticker. Oh, yeah, you can punch that out of here. Come back in a couple innings. I'll figure out how it gets out of there. But
what to say next?
Yeah, well, maybe just an inning then. There we go. I like this one. I'm putting that on my desk.
Okay. And that's a look into our Champion Windows broadcast booth that will undergo a much-needed facelift, we understand, here very soon. At least that's the game plan, or so we're told. So Saturday night you get the fleece blanket, and don't forget Saturday night on opening night ceremonies we're going to have the great fireworks show, our first one of the year. Normally they're on Friday nights, but the Reds are off tomorrow night. So fireworks after the game on Saturday. Then Sunday you have the big faith concert after the ball game. You get the magnetic schedule.
Give Reds uncut
Sunday night.
Sunday night. And Saturday night, I understand you'll be wearing a tuxedo. Is that correct?
When? Sunday night?
Yeah.
Well,
or Saturday night.
Well, no, Saturday.
Saturday.
No, Jim Kelch will be here Saturday. On the ground is short.
So he'll be wearing your tuxedo.
Yes, he will. They're two-way in the inning. Are you wearing a tuxedo Saturday night?
I am indeed.
Are you really?
Yeah.
So you'll be able to sport your favorite bow tie.
I will.
What color? You got a red one?
I have to surprise you.
Okay. Well, you know, normally what we do every year when George Grant, of course, was calling most of the games, and I would be his fill-in from time to time. I would always do the second game after George would do opening day. Mm-hmm. And the same holds true this year. Now that I've tried to fill George's shoes, Jim Kelch will do the second game on Saturday night. And then, Chris, you and I will be right back here on Sunday.
I don't think I'm back on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, you're here on Sunday.
I am?
Yeah. And then Sean Casey will broadcast Reds baseball for the first time during the Houston Astros series. There's a fly ball short center that will fall for Nieves. 2 hits for Will Nieves.
If that name sounds familiar to you, you might remember his brother Mel Nieves. Played for several teams, including the Reds in the late 90s. I think the Reds got him as a switch hitter from the Detroit Tigers, if I'm not mistaken.
A little activity starts for the first time in the Reds bullpen today. Volquez 1 out away from pitching through 6, and it appears that's what he will do, and he does. So that should do it for Volquez. 6 innings, he trails 5-2. last off the bat of Bruce Stubs in the 4th. To the seats in right. And that is our cold hard blast off the bat of Drew Stubs. 5 runs, 7 hits for Milwaukee. 4 men left on base. The Reds have 2 runs on 5 hits. They've left 6. Johnny Gomes, Ramon Hernandez, Paul Giannis to start things against Gallardo here in the home half of the 6th inning. Reds need to get down to business. Trailing here on opening day. Gallardo coming off by far his best inning of the game when he set down Votto, Roland, and Bruce in order.
You know the game plan, Tom, for every major league team: get to the starter, try to get into the bullpen as early as you can. But I think against no team in this division more so than the Milwaukee Brewers. That is the one area of this ball club that they have the most concern about. Those that have evaluated this team think that they may have their weakness.
You know, their general manager, Doug Melvin, told us, Chris, when you and I were out there together in Arizona, he said, you know, that in all his years in baseball, and you'll hear this from other executives, but the hardest thing to get a true read on is your bullpen from year to year. I mean, last year, if there was ever a team that had 3 or 4 guys come out of absolute nowhere, I mean, guys that were pitching in Japan, guys that were pitching in Korea, guys that were pitching in the independent league, guys that had been released by other teams, that all of a sudden caught that lightning in a bottle. It was guys sitting down there in that Brewer bullpen who are back now. Can they do it again?
You're right.
A 1 away in the inning. And here's Ramon Hernandez, who has singled and fly to center. Hernandez left the bases loaded, ending the 3rd inning with a fly ball to center field. One ball and 2 strikes on Ramon Hernandez. Look out off the screen in front of the Reds dugout. 1-2 on Ramon Hernandez. Reds will send out Travis Wood in game 2 against Sean Markham, who makes his Milwaukee Brewers debut in Saturday night still. Of course, 2 of the 5 starters expected to be in the Reds rotation during the spring. Homer Bailey and Johnny Cueto on the DL. There's a Tapper foul. So in the 3rd game of the year, it'll be 17-game winner Bronson Arroyo against left-hander Randy Wolf. Wolf has been a Reds killer throughout his entire career. Two and 2. Reds will open with 6 games on this homestand to start the season. 3 against the Brewers, 3 against Houston, and go out west right back to Arizona for a 3-game series with the Diamondbacks, followed by 3 in San Diego. Eighth pitch in this at bat. Gallardo against Hernandez. It's 2-2, and that one shot into right field. A base hit by Ramon. We have Jordan Smith, the right-hander, getting loose in the Reds bullpen. The number 8 hitter, Paul Janisch, coming up.
You know, one of the reasons that Ramon Hernandez is such a good hitter in the clutch is that he puts the ball in play. He fouled the ball off the facing of the Reds dugout right along the first baseline on a pitch. He's just trying to make contact. He's waiting as long as he can. That's not a textbook swing. He's just trying to get the bat on the ball. He finds a hole on the right side and picks up a second hit of the day for him.
There's Paul Janisch, 0 for 2. Is flied out to left, popped up the fielder at first. Big Juan Francisco standing in the on-deck circle and might bat for Edinson Volquez next. That man is one dangerous hitter with that bat in his hand.
Well, you're wondering why maybe Juan Francisco is warming up right now to get in the ball game. The Brewers have a couple of left-handers, and what you'd want to stay away from if you're Dusty Baker is have Francisco come into a situation where they've already got a left-hander up and ready to go to face him. Right now, nobody up in the Brewer bullpen. In fact, they're just now getting somebody loose, but he would not be loose in time to get ready for Francisco.
And it's a right-hander getting loose, Cameron Lowe. Okay, we saw Francisco get a lot of at-bats the last 3 or 4 days of spring training against left-handers. And it was staggering how different he looked. Now it's a spring training game, but look at those numbers during the spring.
Yep.
I mean, there's one thing that cannot be denied about that young man. And that is whatever level in the minor leagues he has played, he has had huge offensive numbers.
Did have that for winter ball.
Indeed. 2-2 to Janisch. I mean, Francisco in back-to-back years was the winter ball rookie of the year. The following year, winter ball's most valuable player. Huge expectations for Juan Francisco down the road. Well, Reds fans, right here, right now, this weekend, you can book your trip to Cincinnati at CincinnatiUSA.com. Two and two on Janisch. Base hit left field. Hernandez advances on to second, and here comes Francisco representing the tying run. And he's got more than enough pop to tie this baby up.
Well, Janisch spoiled a high fastball his last pitch and then ended up getting a hanging breaking ball right there from Gallardo. So you spoil a good pitch, and then you end up with a cookie, and he hits a line drive right over the third baseman's head. His first hit of the season. A little meeting on the mound out there. Will Nieves, the catcher, went out to talk to Gallardo. And you know that Juan Francisco is a dead red hitter. He loves to hit the fastball. And against Gallardo, who's got a good breaking ball, he may not get one on the first pitch, but be ready in case you do. Be ready coming off the bench to swing the bat at the first good fastball you see.
Francisco in 4 straight minor league seasons, 25-90, 23-92, 22-74. We're talking home runs and RBIs. And 28 homers and 100 batted in when he made his major league debut in 2009. He hit his first big league home run that year. Played in 36 games last year for the Reds and had a home run. 0-1. Got jam with a fastball and pops it up. Infield fly rule, 2 down. It's a good pitch by Gallardo.
Actually, that pitch probably a variation of a fastball. Instead of coming in there at 91, 92, it's a cutter. It's expected to, or it's thrown as designed to look like a fastball, but at the last moment comes right in on the left-handed hitter's hands, comes off the sweet spot, and Juan pops it up.
All right, now Stubs with 2 on and 2 out. Reds down 5-2. Drew has doubled, bounced to third, homered, and scored twice.
Well, we got got people all over the world watching us on MLB Network today, on satellite. Our good friend Brian Abrams over in Bangkok. In the middle of the night, they've turned off Premier League soccer to watch Reds opening day baseball at the Pickle Liver in Bangkok, Thailand.
How about that?
Yes, that's the name of the pub, Tom.
The Pickle Liver?
The Pickled Liver.
Okay. Two on, two out. The 1-1 to Stubs. There's a fastball on the inside corner, a called strike. That last pitch, Gallardo hitting triple digits. 100 pitches in the game. This figures to be his final inning of work. He's been in trouble. 2 left on in the first, 1 more in the second. Reds left him loaded in the third. And now they have 2 on here in the 6th. Inning over. Reds have stranded 8. And at the end of 6, the Brewers still in front. 5-2 game. By Cincinnati Children's in the top 10 for all selected pediatric specialties in U.S. News and World Report's 2010 Best Children's Hospitals. And by your Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com for current offers. Ah, yes, Cincinnati chili. That looks good. Real good. Well, join the entire Reds team this Sunday. We told you about an evening of fun and entertainment. It's called Reds Uncut Live at the Aronoff, delivered by DHL. We'll have interviews, game show elements, and so much more with your favorite players in a theater-style show. It promises to be a great night. For more information or to buy tickets, visit reds.com/uncut. Looking forward to that, Chris, Sunday night.
And it's going to be a lot of fun.
You were doing a little soft shoe routine over there, I'm told, on Sunday.
You have to come out and see it.
Like a Mr. Bojangles kind of thing. Jordan Smith now taking over on the mound. He pitched well for the Reds last year.
Coming right out of Double-A.
He was sent out midway through training camp when the Reds did not have any issues whatsoever as far as health to their staff. That's when you were wondering if guys like Mike Leake, Sam LeCure, whether those guys would be pitching in the minor leagues.
Well, all those guys that you mentioned, including Jordan Smith, were ticketed for the minor leagues. Had there not been a rash of injuries to the arms we showed you earlier, they probably would be down there. And I'm sure that Jordan Smith came into camp, took a look at the numbers, took a look at the guys coming back, and realized it was going to be an uphill battle to make the team out of spring training, but a lot can change. This young man did a fine job, and You know, he got sent down about midway through because you simply run out of innings. There just aren't enough innings in spring training. Once your starters begin to go 4 or 5 innings out there, there aren't enough relief innings because you have to get your closers and your setup guys enough work. So they sent him on out to get some work. And here he is in the big leagues on opening day.
Just turned 25 years old about a month and a half ago, did Smith. Was one of 10 Reds players to make his major league debut last year. His first full seasons, 4 of them in professional baseball. He was a starting pitcher, then converted to a reliever last year. Top of the order for the Brewers here in the 7th inning, leading 5-2. Good fastball on the inside corner, and Weeks didn't like the call.
Weeks thought that pitch was inside. He loves a ball out over the plate where he can get his arms extended. Look at the movement, though, on this 2-seam fastball by Jordan Smith. Right in under the hands.
Well, we learned right quick last year about Jordan Smith. He is not afraid to pitch inside regularly. This is a tough kid with good stuff.
Big dude, 6'4", 230 at least.
Sixth-round draft choice out of the Community College of Southern Nevada in Las Vegas. He grew up in Utah, Pleasant Grove, Utah. Carlos Gomez, 1 of 3, homered in the first inning, struck out in the second, lined out to left field in the 5th. Smith ahead of him, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Reds have Phillips, Votto, and Roland due up in the bottom of the 7th inning. Trying to keep it a 3-run spread is Jordan Smith. Two out. Well, after every Reds game this year, Fox Sports Ohio will break it all down on Reds Live with Chris Welsh, brought to you by Kings Honda in the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com.
Excuse me?
You and I are both a regular part of the show.
We are indeed. Reds Live is our
post-game show. But you're the one who generally breaks it down. Am I right or wrong?
Usually. Well, you're not gonna leave me alone, though.
No,
right?
no.
I'm just saying, but you're the guy who get out of here early.
You're the guy who is more capable. I am not capable of breaking it down.
Have your driver waiting for you down on Merring Way?
Oh yeah. He is trying to get down on Merring Way. 2-0 to Ryan Broad. I guess all the gang was out before the game, and our cameras have already been rolling, I understand, over at that brand new place right across Joe Nuxall Way. What's it called?
The Holy Grail.
Holy Grail.
Yeah, we were over there early this morning. We got over there, I think, about 8:30 this morning. I followed Phil Castellini on a radio show that emanated from there, and boy, the place was just jam-packed.
That's our buddy Tom Gamble. You were on with him today, right? Good guy.
Gamble and Finn.
Yeah, good man.
On 96 Rock. Yeah, we had a good time this morning.
There it was earlier today. That's about what time? 8:30 in the morning.
In fact, that's our Fox crew right here. Most of our camera and technical people getting ready for our broadcast. Now you know what our production meetings look like.
That's right. That's full of it. That's great stuff. Opening day. forever played on a Monday. Major League Baseball moving the start of the season up in front of a weekend to try to avoid playing any baseball in the month of November. Base hit left field by Braun.
Hanging breaking ball, and that's what he does to him. And he's going for 2, and he's going to make it. How about that? That's the kind of thing we were talking about early, Tom, about Ron Renicky and what he's tried to instill in this ball club. Not just stolen bases, but take an extra base. If you think that you've got a chance for a double, you do it with the first couple of steps out of the batter's box. And Braun is aggressive. The worst thing that can happen to him here is he stops and goes back to first. But a little momentary bobble by the left fielder, Johnny Gomes, and Braun's got himself in scoring position. That's a huge play, especially when you've got Prince Fielder coming behind you.
Well, the Reds have a left-hander, Bill Bray, getting loose in the bullpen. And you wonder if that trip to the mound, they're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Fielder. So a hustling double for a single and then an error charge to Johnny Gomes. But Braun ends up at second base.
I'll tell you, it didn't take much of a little fumble out there by Johnny Gomes to get the green light by Braun to head to second base. I mean, I would say that there are 90% of the players out there take a rounder at first base. Gomes bobbles the ball a little bit, and they head back to the bag. But when you're thinking about getting to second base and a guy makes that play, it's an easy decision to head on in. He didn't even have to slide.
Well, it was fascinating watching the Brewers just play in spring training, as you talked about, Chris, where Ron Renicky was setting the mindset of this team that was extremely lazy, if you will, on the bases by and large last year under Ken Mocking.
Well, lazy really because it was more of an American League style.
Sure.
Sit back, wait for the home run. You got the big poppers in the lineup. Go ahead and do it.
Breaking ball swung on and missed by Casey McGee. 2 on, 2 out. We're in the 7th. This is a huge batter in the game. Reds already down 3. Brewers have led this one since the first batter of the game. Ricky Weeks homered. The second batter, Carlos Gomez, homered. Brewers got a 3rd run in that first inning. Reds got 1 back in the bottom half, but the Brewers got that run back in the top of the 2nd inning. A Stubs home run made it 4-2. A Braun home run made it where we stand now at 5-2. 2-1 to McGee. Count even at 2-2.
Well, he's had McGee look real bad on both the good breaking balls that he's thrown. Smith throws a slider, and he's kept them right on the outside corner. McGee's not come close. Of course, figure he'd come back with that pitch twice in a row if he has to here.
Braun the runner at second, Fielder on at first, and a balk will advance both runners.
Make a little movement before you get started, and that's going to be a balk. There it is. He starts before he steps off. First move the pitcher has to move is get that right foot off the rubber.
Bouncing ball into right field, a base hit. Braun will score. They're going to hold Fielder.
Man, oh man, that's a tough break.
Clutch hit for Casey McGee.
A gimme run right there. The Reds give the Brewers, and at a time in the game you really can't do that. The error by Gomes, the good base running by Braun, the balk to get him to third base. You don't score from second base on this. Not with the way Jay Bruce throws the ball. And McGee comes up after looking very bad on a couple of breaking balls. He gets a pitch and he drives it into right field and drive a run in.
Well, the biggest deficit of the afternoon now for the Reds. It's 4. That's all for Smith. Bray comes on from the pen. Our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. You can join the Reds for Bark in the Park at Great American Ballpark. Come early for the dog parade. Check out the fan zone for product samples and special dog activities. Get more information on how you and your dog can be a part of the first of 2 Reds Bark in the Park events this year. Visit reds.com/dog day. It's always a great time here at Great American Ballpark, and we're going to double your fun again. Bill Bray now on the pitch.
35 games last year for Bray. He came in here because the scheduled batter was Mark Kotsay, a left-handed hitter. Lefties hit only 100 off of Bray last year, and Ron Radke knows that, so he's going to send a pinch hitter up there swinging right-handed.
So Eric Almonte to bat from the right side of the plate. Almonte takes down low for ball 1. So many years in the Yankee farm system for Almonte, going back to 1997. Made it with a big league club in 2001, again in 2003. This one in the air and should end the inning, but another scoring inning for Milwaukee. They get a clutch 2-out hit from McGee to take advantage of the Gomes error in left field. Middle of the 7th, and we're going to keep it right here for the singing on opening day of God Bless America. The Milwaukee Brewers lead the Reds 6-2.
Honor these brave men and women and all our veterans of service, and welcome Technical Sergeant Felita Rowe of the Air Force Band of Flight as she leads us in the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above.
Phillips thought he had a double, but denied on a slick play on both corners. McGee at third, Fielder at first. Brandon going to try and get that base hit right here and right now, leading off the Reds' 7th inning with the Brewers in front by a score of 6-2. And now on to pitch one of those guys that we talked about who had such a big year last year, virtually coming out of nowhere, was Cameron Lowe. Well, he takes over for Giovanni Gallardo and quickly gets ahead 0-2.
Lowe's a big guy, 6'8", 240, 53 games last year. And for a big guy that tall, he doesn't really throw all that hard. Lots of movement, uses a downward plane on the ball, gets a lot of ground balls.
Check swing, and they appeal, and he went around, according to Larry Vanover.
Well, Brandon didn't like that one.
Originally a 20th round draft pick by the Texas Rangers in 2002 out of Cal State Northridge. Got a little bit of time in 04, again in 05, again in 06, once more in 07, again in 08, just up and down, minor leagues to the major leagues.
You may not know this about him. His grandfather, Howard Pound, played a year for the Detroit Lions.
That one in the air to right field, and Joey Votto will touch them all.
Well, you talk about a guy that is ready to hit when he steps in the batter's box and has a plan against every pitcher that he knows, every pitcher he sees. He studies them on tape. Got a low down in breaking ball and just kind of chip shotted it right out of here into the bullpen. He goes down to get this one.
Well, picking up right where he left off from his MVP year last season is Votto. He's knocked in 2 of the 3 Reds runs today. Well, the Reds again down 3. A 6-3 game, and here's Scott Rowland. Rowland 0 for 2 has drawn a walk. Gallardo on the ropes outside of that 5th inning. He stranded 8 men in the 5 innings, really 8 in 4 innings, truth be told. The Reds got the home run by Stubs in the 4th. He was the only man to reach in that inning. So they left 8 runners on base among the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 6th innings. 3-1 to Rowland. Payoff pitch coming to Scotty Rowland. That's bounced foul. Payoff pitch again. In the air left field. Will it stay fair? Foul. 3-2 pitch once more. Got him swinging.
Hey, Reds fans, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting products for your menu. Inspired solutions, better results, JTM.
Bottom of the 7th inning, Reds trailing the Milwaukee Brewers here on opening day. A 6-3 game. Jay Bruce, 2 of 3, looks at ball 1. Brewers went out and made a couple of additions to their bullpen to set up their closer John Axford, who of course took over for Trevor Hoffman in that role last year. But one of the 2 pitchers they brought in is on the DL, veteran LaTroy Hawkins. But they do have Takashi Saito, who has been so good when he has been healthy since coming over from Japan. For a couple of years, of course, he was a closer for the Dodgers, but now a setup man. Low allows a home run, but fans the side. We march on to the 8th, where the Brewers are still in front, 6-3. Well, opening day has not gone as planned thus far. Reds have a couple of more cracks at him. Trailing 6-3 as we are set to begin the 8th inning, where the Reds will now go to their bullpen once again. Edinson Volquez went the front 6, allowed 7 hits, 5 runs, all earned. Jordan Smith, 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, an intentional walk, and an earned run. Bill Bray, 1/3 of an inning, and now we get a look at the man who begins the year in the Reds starting rotation, but because of off days tomorrow and Monday, will make his first appearance of this season out of the bullpen. Sam LeCure.
I'll tell you what, he pitched the ball very well in spring training. You could tell Sam LeCure came down there to Goodyear, Arizona, ready to go in midseason form, knowing it was going to be a tough numbers game for him to make the starting rotation. So he was pitching for one of those rare reliever spots that the Reds. And here he is on the ball club.
Yuniesky Betancourt to start things off in the Milwaukee 8th inning and looks at a strike. Latter third in the order. Betancourt, Nieves, and then Lowe. Way out in front is Betancourt, and lifts a fly ball into short left center, and Gomes is there. 1 out. That run, by the way, charged to Jordan Smith is an earned run, even with the error, because of the 2-out hit by McGee
and the balk.
Cardinals have jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the first inning against San Diego. Tim Stauffer on the mound for the Padres, and of course Chris Carpenter starting it for St. Louis. Carpenter already involved in a brouhaha during spring training this year with the Washington Nationals. A bench clearing incident between the Cardinals and Washington. Jim Riggleman came out, the manager of the Nationals, and said there is no doubt in anybody's mind who watches baseball that Carpenter was intentionally trying to hit 2 of his players. Ground out to third, and there are 2 out in the inning. A lot of people feel like the Cardinals are especially dangerous this year, Chris, even with a loss to Adam Wainwright, because they played the role of underdog. You buying into that at all?
Well, I'm not so sure I buy into it because of the underdog role. I never write the Cardinals off. I mean, they added a couple of pretty good pieces to their puzzle last year. They got Ryan Theriot in there playing shortstop. Lance Berkman, who's been forever a Reds killer, although he had a terrible spring, signed an $8 million deal and is expected to swing the bat and play some outfield for him, obviously. They weakened their rotation a little bit or their bullpen by taking Kyle McClellan out, making a starter out of him, trying to replace those 230-odd innings that Wainwright gives you every year. But I still think they've got a very good ball club.
Jeremy Reed, meanwhile, batting 4 low, who goes an inning, allows a hit, the home run to Votto, but strikes out 3. Short right center. Stubs will run it down, and a perfect 8th inning for Sam LeCure. All right, Reds coming up, 2 innings to go, trailing by 3. Wherever you go this summer, subscribe to MLB.tv today and see every Reds game live or on demand on your computer and on your favorite devices. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. All right, here come the Reds in the bottom of the 8th. And 41-year-old Takashi Saito takes over on the mound. Pitched for a dozen years in Japan before coming to America in 2006 with the Dodgers. Wound up as their closer when Eric Gagne got hurt. Had 3 straight years of 24-39 when he was an All-Star in 2007, and then 18 saves before he got hurt in 08. Spent the last couple of years with Boston, and then last year with Atlanta. The Reds couldn't touch this guy.
I'll tell you, I don't think a lot of teams could touch this guy. When he first broke on the scene, he only blew 3 of the first 50 save opportunities that he had. He set a record in all of Major League Baseball to start out with the best save percentage after 50 chances of anybody who's ever done it.
1-1 account. Of course, that devastating earthquake that occurred on March the 11th of this year that caused the fires, the deadly tsunami, is in the same province where Saito was born. Went to college nearby and has been one of the real leaders, along with Major League Baseball, in trying to raise funds for parts of that devastated country, his homeland. The Reds touched him up last year for the first time ever. I mean, they didn't even hit a ball hard against him for the 4 years he was in LA. And they touched him up a little bit one game against Atlanta, but he does a lot of that. I mean, when this guy's healthy, he makes hitters look awful at the plate.
Well, he's got a lot of movement on his fastball. He's got pinpoint control with that splitter or slider. I'm not sure really what that pitch was. Looks like a slider coming out of his hand right there, breaking away from Gomes, but he just touches up the corners. Rarely do you see him make a mistake down the middle of the plate.
Well, the Reds now beginning to run out of outs. One away, bottom of the 8th inning, down 3, and here's Ramon Hernandez. Paul Giannis next. And then the pitcher spot. Hernandez 2 of 3. Singled with the bases empty in the second, flied out to center to leave him loaded in the third, and then singled with the bases empty in the 6th.
You know, Saito, you could say, is kind of the insurance policy the Brewers have in the back end of their bullpen. Their closer is John Axford. Did a great job last year. 24 saves, 27 opportunities. But if he fails, you've got Saito, who's an experienced reliever back there, who's been a great closer before, to step right in.
Hit hard into left field. It'll fall. 3rd hit of the afternoon for Ramon Hernandez.
Ramon kind of got fooled on that one. You see him shaking his hand right there. That must have stung him a little bit. The ball got out on the end of the bat. They're joking about it down there at first base. Prince Field will tell him, hey, you'll take a little bit of hand buzzing right there for a base hit, won't you? You got 3 knocks on the day.
The Reds trying to get one more aboard and bring the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Miguel Cairo is in the on-deck circle as it's ball 1 to Paul Giannis. Out of play, 1-1.
Paul Giannis really pulling off the ball. If you watch his front shoulder, that baby's flying wide open. The bat dragging behind him. Got a base hit his last time up on a hanging breaking ball, but watch his shoulder. This shoulder is going that way. And his head takes off the ball. He'll really be susceptible now to anything on the lower outside part of the strike zone.
One and one to Giannis. at bat, and this one will fall like Hernandez, a base hit.
Well, after Giannis pulled off the ball so much, you know, the catcher is the guy that's supposed to realize that, so they're staying away from him. Giannis is full, but that ball is up around the waist. That's why he's able to get the bat on the ball, just be able to barely get it over the infield in front of the outfielder, right on the end of the bat, shattering the bat on the end, and hey, he'll take it. The Reds have something going here against Saito.
All right, well, here's what the Reds had hoped for, to have a chance and bring the tying run to the plate in the bottom of the 8th inning. Miguel Cairo batting for Sam LeCure, and he looks at a strike. Boy, how clutch was Miguel Cairo last year?
Oh, every time you turned around, the guy came up with a big hit or a big play. I mean, when he filled in for Joey Votto at first base, he hit about 600.
Cairo, 36 years old, beginning his 13th season in the major leagues. That's a called strike. He thought it was low. Of course, the Reds set the tone very early last year, coming back to win games.
Well, they won their first 6 games last year in their last at bat. Overall, they won 20 games in their last at bat.
Only Atlanta with more come from behind wins, and of course both of those teams reached the postseason. 0-2 on Cairo, 2 on, 1 out. We're in the 8th. Time was called. Cairo played in 91 games for the Reds last year, got 200 at bats. He knocked in 28 runs. One of 2 non-roster invitees that made the opening day roster, and Reds gave him a 2-year contract during the offseason, the first multi-year contract he's ever had. And look at those numbers at Great American Ballpark. He started 2 and laid off. That must look like such an enticing pitch for a right-handed batter.
Boy, he is just feathering that little slider right on the outside corner.
Well, you get Drew Stubs next, who already has a couple of hits, including a home run. Back-to-back 1-out singles by Hernandez and Giannis has brought the tying run to the plate. Two and 2. Struck him out for the second of the inning.
Changing speed, changing location, zips the fastball right by him on the corner. I'll tell you what, Saito has got that little number 7 detail brush right out there to hit that outside black.
All right, now Drew Stubs had a blue double down the right field line, scored in the first, has since bounced to third, homered to right. That was in the 4th inning. And he struck out against Gallardo in the 6th. Last 6 outs by the Reds, all strikeouts, and a breaking ball is away from Stubs. "22 long ones a season ago for Drew, and 1 already here on opening day." chopped up. Fielder a long way to go and got there in time, and the Reds strand 2 more. They have left 10 runners on base in 5 innings of this game today. Welcome back to the Coors Light freeze cam. This was ruled a hit. But Marcotte clearly made the catch. Reds couldn't take advantage of that call, leaving the bases loaded back in the 3rd inning, and that was the Coors Light freeze cam. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Now Logan Ondrusek, who made his debut with the Reds last season, one of the 10 players to do so, and pitched extremely well.
Boy, did he ever. 60 games for Logan Ondrusek last year. Big, tall right-hander, 6'8", from Shiner, Texas. Guy that really uses the downward plane. He throws somewhat overhand, and he, at 6 feet 8 inches tall, he gets that ball down around the knees. That with a combination, two-seam fastball that sinks, a little splitter that sinks. He's come up with a nice little cutter, but he's got the pitch to the top of the Brewer lineup. That's the part of the lineup that's done all the damage.
There's no debate about that. Ricky Weeks, 2 hits and 4 at bats, has knocked in a couple of runs. You have Gomez, who's homered, and then Ryan Braun, who has 2 hits, has been on base 4 times, knocked in a run. And Casey McGee has knocked in a couple in that 5-hole. But all the action has been at the top. Talked about the Reds dominating the Brewers last year. One guy they just could not get out was Weeks. So whatever scouting report they have on Ricky, they ought to throw it in the recycle bin. Had a lot of English on it coming off the bat. Votto able to play through it and get the out. Well, America's Pastime returns to Fox on Saturdays. We bring you all the excitement and tradition of baseball's opening weekend. The Padres and the Cardinals from Busch Stadium coming up. The season premiere of Fox Saturday Baseball. 4 Eastern in high definition day after tomorrow. Ball 1 to Carlos Gomez. Votto will run out of room. and it's 2-1 on Gomez. Well, again, the Reds and the Brewers off tomorrow. And back at it here on opening night on Saturday night. And we invite you to come on down. We mentioned tickets are available. Have the big fireworks show after the game. Have the fleece blanket giveaways. That's a 7:10 game. And then Sunday is a 1:10 start. That'll be Bronson Arroyo against Randy Wolf. We'll have Bark in the Park. Be a big Sunday afternoon here at Great American Ballpark. And then the Reds are off again on Monday and play 3 straight games against Houston. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and a 12:35 game on Thursday. And there's a walk to Gomez. That is a guy who, as Chris mentioned earlier, is nearly impossible to walk.
Yeah, he walked only 17 times last year. He struck out 72. But what he does when he gets on the base path, so he can create some problems. 18 stolen bases, only thrown out 3 times.
Gomez is a very easy guy to like as a person. Ron Gardenhire, who's as fine a manager as there is in the game, had him in Minnesota and absolutely loved him, but felt that Gomez just got too wound up. I mean, too fired up. He always had to bring him in and tell him just to settle down a little bit. Eventually led to a trade where Gomez was dealt at just 23 years young. Of course, he was the primary guy in the Johan Santana deal. He was originally a New York Met,
right,
with huge expectations of the future. And when Minnesota traded Santana to New York, Gomez was a guy that the Twins wanted. But the Twins just keep producing so many of their own players that Gomez lost his job. And really, he had lost his job with the Brewers if you look what happened last year. He got a chance to be their everyday center fielder, did not hit. And Lorenzo Cain was their starter the final 2 months of the season. But then Cain and the young shortstop Alcides Escobar were part of the trade that brought Zach Greinke to the Milwaukee Brewers during the offseason. And one on Ryan Braun. Threw a fastball right by him. And it's 0-2. Well, you'll take a peek ahead at the bottom of the 9th inning as Axford, the closer, gets loose for Milwaukee. Scheduled hitters Brandon Phillips, Joey Votto, Scott Rowland, and the Reds are hoping for a lot more than that. Well, where did that miss? Braun never named names, but I mean, you didn't even have to read between the lines to know how he felt and what his relationship was like with last year's Brewers manager, Ken Maka. The two apparently did not see eye to eye. There goes a runner, and it's in the dirt. That'll be a stolen base for Gomez.
I think he had that stolen base even if Hernandez comes up with that ball clean. Had a little bit more of a lead that time, leaning towards second base, a 1-2 count. Figured that maybe Andrusik was going to throw a breaking ball, maybe try to waste one down the dirt to get Braun to chase, and it's exactly what happened.
Two and two on Ryan Braun, still out of the batter's box, waiting for him to get back in it. Looked like Logan got away with one right there. Threw it right by him with another fastball up and in, and that's the second out of the inning. I don't think enough teams challenge Braun like this.
Well, you know, you go up the ladder on him, and you know, when you get a good hitter, sometimes that's the only way you're going to get it out, is just go with your mano a mano and challenge him with your hard stuff.
I mean, I wish I had $1 for every time since Braun came to the major leagues. He has just plastered people on breaking balls. Not to say he can't. We know he can get a fastball. I'm not implying that at all. Man, oh man, oh man.
Well, a lot of it, of course, is location.
Oh,
you can't throw the fastball down the middle.
No
but
doubt about it.
If you start running up the ladder on him and he's in a 2-strike count where he has to protect the plate, he doesn't have much time to react to that high fastball.
And the Reds did a great job with Braun last year.
They did indeed.
But really, to have a realistic hope of being able to come back and get Axford in the bottom of the 9th inning. You got to take care of McGee and keep it at a 3-run game. McGee picking up where he left off from a year ago. We told you he led this team in runs batted in. He's knocked in 2 of their 6 runs today. And a tapper slowly hit. Giannis, a nice play, and that'll do it. So it remains a 3-run game. And here come the big hitters. Phillips, Votto, Roland. Can the Reds come back on opening day? Doing more defense. Reds, of course, had 3 Gold Glove winners last year. Bronson Arroyo on the mound, Scotty Rowland at third, and of course the amazing Brandon Phillips picking up his 2nd Gold Glove as a second baseman. Well, here comes the Ontario, Canada native, John Axford. became the Brewers closer after baseball's all-time saves leader Trevor Hoffman faltered early last year. Axford set a rookie record for the Brewers, 24 saves, only blew 3. And as a 27-year-old rookie, he held opponents to a .204 batting average. And the first pitch is laced into left field, and that's off the wall. Brandon Phillips not going to dare try it with his team down 3. It's a leadoff hit.
Well, I think the same thing goes for Axford as did earlier with Yovani Gallardo. Get to him before he can throw you his curveball, because that's his pitch of choice. Brandon jumps on the first pitch he sees. He bounces it off the wall in left center field. The Reds have got something going here in the ninth.
Now Joey Votto with a leadoff man aboard. Rolling next, and it's Bruce and Gomes Hernandez. The Reds would love to have all those guys and maybe a couple of more come up here in the bottom of the ninth. Ball 1. Votto a sac fly to center field. A run batted in the first inning. Just missed clubbing a home run. He walked in the third. Grounded to short in the 5th inning, and then homered to right. A solo shot in the 7th. Votto. Those that have sat through a rather raw, cold kind of day here in Cincinnati. Yeah, it could be worse, but it could be better. It is cold. Temperatures in the low to mid 40s. And really hasn't changed much since the first pitch back in 210. 3-1 to Joey Votto. That tells you what you need to know. Tying run will come to the plate with nobody out.
Now, this is what the Brewers have been worried about with John Axford. Even though he had a great year last year, converted 24 of 27, he did not have a good spring. His command was a little iffy. And you wonder, on a cold day like today, and kind of thin air, where that breaking ball doesn't have a good feel of it, that takes away one of his better pitches.
Where spring training really got off on the wrong foot entirely with Axford. On Valentine's Day, he took his wife out to dinner, got a terrible case of food poisoning. Within 2 days, he had lost 10 pounds and just never got right. See the 6 walks in 8 1/3 innings to go along with 10 hits. Well, the Reds have work to do. First 2 on, nobody out, but they're down 3, and here's Scotty rolling. Started 2 and laid off.
Nothing but fastball so far for Axford.
Oh, and 1 the count on Scotty rolling. Runners will stay put. Quickly finding the ball, the catcher Nieves. And there's no sense in being silly here. Good pitch here on the outside corner. Right on the edge. Dusty disagreed. And now Axford has Rolen by the neck. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That one is outside. Told you the Reds in 5 of their innings today have left 10 runners on base. Can they finally break through? Down by 3 in the 9th, 2 on, none out. We'll do it again.
Axford so far has only thrown 1 attempt at a breaking ball, and he bounced it in the dirt. Everything else has been fastballs.
Phillips at second base. Votto on over at first. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Rolen. Ball 3. Slow roller down to third. They get the tag. No, they did not. And the runner is safe at first. Everybody's safe. McGee is claiming that Phillips ran out of the base path. He went to make the tag, thinking about getting the double play before he made sure of the tag. How about that? And a third base umpire, Dan Bellino, was all over the call.
Well, the ball was not hit all that hard, so maybe that's the reason McGee decided not to go around the horn to second base and then to first. Figured it would be an easy play to touch the runner. You got about 3 feet. You make your own base path from where you started to the bag, and from there, if you run more than 3 feet out of the line, you are out of the base path. But evidently, Brandon Phillips did not do that. And he's clearly not out of the line there. McGee thought he was, and that hesitation caused an out and has now loaded the bases for Jay Bruce. He didn't touch him.
Well, well, well. The Reds have him loaded with nobody out. The winning run stands in Jay Bruce. Tying run is at first. Strike 1. One career grand slam for Jay Bruce. Did not have good numbers last year with the bases loaded. Only a 154 batter. But trying to change that right here and right now here in 2011. He's behind 0-2.
You'd think this might be a pretty good matchup for Bruce. Not that now that it's 0-2, but Axford throws a low fastball. Really likes to keep the ball down around the knees. Doesn't oftentimes ride the ladder up around the chest with it. And Bruce, a good fastball hitter when it's down low.
Jay gonna have to battle now. Quickly behind 0-2. Bases loaded, none out. Cincinnati looking for the big hit. And this man delivered the one everyone will remember last September. Phillips single to begin the inning. Votto walked. A fielder's choice loads him up. Reds down 3, none out in the bottom of the 9th. Struck him out on a breaking ball. 1 out in the inning.
He hasn't thrown too many of those. That's the first one he's thrown for a strike in the inning. And he picked a good time to drop it on him. Boy, does that have some downward break.
Now Johnny Gomes. Tying one at first, winning one at the plate. Reds down 3 with 1 out in the 9th inning. Straight away center. And this will get in 1 run. And a leaping catch out there by Gomez. Boy, I thought for a second, Chris, he had gotten it better than he did. It's a 2-run game, but there are 2 out in the inning.
A lot of people in this ballpark thought the same thing, Tom. Johnny Gomes hit it on the screws, it looked like, but it'll be a long fly out, a sacrifice, and an RBI for Gomes, but it brings the Reds 1 run closer.
Well, Dustin could tell down there at field level that was not hit nearly as well as perhaps even Gomes thought it was. So it's a 6-4 game, but the Reds are down to their final out. A strikeout by Bruce with nobody out and the bases loaded is followed by the sac fly liner from Gomes. Now Ramon Hernandez, who's had a good day today. He's down a strike. Hernandez 3 hits and 4 at bats. A little surprised they're not running for Roland here. Of course, they've already used Juan Francisco and Cairo. Maybe that's the reason why they're not. They don't have anybody else to play the infield.
Well, they could play Renteria out there.
Yeah. In the air down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. Oh, brother. 2010 revisited on opening day. Can you believe that? An opposite field 3-run home run, bottom of the 9th inning with 2 outs.
Well, you talked earlier, Tom, about how clutch Ramon Hernandez was last year, time after time, delivering a big base hit when the Reds needed it. And he starts the season off right where he left off.
What an unbelievable win this is. All day long. Wow. You never felt like the Reds were even in the game.
He knew it right away. That ball came off the bat big time, slicing into the Brewer bullpen. The game winner, another walk-off win for the Reds. 22 of them last year, put in the books this year.
Let's go downstairs where the hero is Jeff Pecoro.
Thank you very much, Tom. You know, they did it time and time again last year, and Moni, you did it again this year. That's absolutely unbelievable.
You know what? It's just, I don't know what to say. It's amazing, you know, especially in a day like this after many years playing and doing an opening day. It's special, you know, especially for all these fans. They always coming here, support us, all my teammates. You know, I'm just trying to do the best I can to win ball games.
You know Axford's throwing hard. You were behind it a little bit, but you were able to get your hands out in front, and you knew it as soon as you made contact that was out of here, didn't you?
Yes, I know. I hit it pretty good, and I had a pretty good feeling. If it wasn't going out, it's going to be the last out anyway, so I was enjoying it because I know I hit it pretty well.
It was so special last year what this team was able to do time and time again in their last at-bat, and now it started this year. It's just something that follows this team. You guys think every at-bat that you've got a chance to win your game, don't you?
You know what? We play as a team, and we win as a team. We got a very good team. We all very together, and we always trying to pick each other. And like tonight was me, maybe next game be other my teammates. That's what we call a team.
Congratulations on a great victory on opening day.
Thank you very much.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Ramon Hernandez, what an opening day, Tom and Chris. How about the line for him today? 4 hits, including the game-winning home run. Tommy, back to you.
I tell you what, it's only one game. Even if you lost it, you walk away from opening day 0-1 and you say it's only one game. But, brother, if you're going to play that first game, to win it like that, Chris Welsh, does it get any sweeter?
How many times in years past, Tom, did we see a capacity crowd here at Great American Ballpark only to watch the Reds get beat up, lose by 6 or 7 runs, really never be in the ball game? They got down early. They battled back. They had a whole different crew of bullpenners that came in here and held the lead pretty tight and just gave those Reds offense just one more chance to be heroes. Today it was Ramon Hernandez. Man, oh man, this is a great way to open up the season.
Man, what a great win. I mean, there are games you get excited about. This is just an unbelievable win.
I may not sleep again tonight. I'm so excited.
All right. So the Reds begin the season much the way they played a lot of last year, winning in dramatic fashion with a 4-run bottom of the 9th inning. 7-6 our final. Jim Day, are you ready for this season?
Are you kidding me, Tom? We're ready for this season. We're down here in the Fox Sports Ohio set. They're going crazy as usual. And Ramon Hernandez puts a capper on the 135th opening day in Cincinnati Reds history. As you guys said, it seemed like this team wasn't in it all day. Never, I mean never, count this team out. What a way to start the season. And coming up on Reds Live postgame edition, we'll put a capper on it. We'll get some further reaction from the clubhouse. You'll hear from Dusty Baker before anyone else. We'll give you the whole list of highlights. We've got a lot to talk about. It's a great day to be a Reds fan. Stick around with us on the home of the Reds, Fox Sports Ohio. Ramon Hernandez, another shot heard round Reds country. We are back.